Hello, welcome to hell. Today we'll be playing the Minecraft Fun Snapshot because it's April 1st. So here, let me just do that. There we go. And I'm gonna go set the things to right. Live.
Do we get any food?
Now. Dimension hopping in Minecraft. Alright. Let
What
me
the?
let me get the chat set up.
The crap?
Copy. Alright, and I'm back. Let me just
Can I
freaking
get food? Please?
open up
Uh,
the
uh, uh,
browser properties.
can I have food? I need food. Ooh, sheep. Come here, come here. Come here. Come here. Poopy face.
Alright, let's see if that works.
Server port is 6702.
Yes.
Welcome to hell, population U. Crap. It's funny. Yeah, that should be right.
Alright, I'm in. Gart, where are you? I heard experience gained. The hell are you doing?
Murdering sheep for flesh because I'm hungry.
Oh, there you are. Let me turn off
You don't
these.
eat flesh, Garrett.
Raw mutton.
You're up your mutton. Okay, making sure I got all the things done. Alright.
What the crap?
What?
Mojang logo. Oh my god, it was like the Sega Lolo.
Lolo.
Lolo, guys, Lolo. Oh my god.
Lolo.
Ah, that's very comedic.
Render distance 18 chunks.
13,000.
Biome blend maximum.
So I'm gonna go get a drink. Hey Garrett, can you watch the stream for a second? Make sure the audio's good.
This is sponsored by NordVPN. What's NordVPN, you're asking? Well, yes. It's definitely not just a marketing scam.
NordVPN is the service that will totally probably not steal your data.
Maybe, depending. If the Chinese government
Whilst
really
protecting
wants it.
it from your government.
Consult your local government today.
Join a militia. Buy war bonds.
Y'all got any of them stock markets?
Bro, I'd like to buy one stock market, please.
Tools. I don't
Hi,
know
we'd like 3 tickets to book.
Okay, guys.
We
I
don't
already
want to
found...
watch Joker 2017. Or 19. Shut up.
Guys, I already found a desert temple.
Nice.
You guys know we can get right into the dimension hopping now.
Yeah, but like, I just want to get like a crafting table and a chest real quick.
Oh crap! That was a creeper. Ah, that's a creeper. That's a creeper. Go away. Go away. Yes.
Haha,
Explode.
funny.
Give me the block.
Open your inventory, press E. Thanks, I know how to play Minecraft.
Garrett apparently found a desert temple already. I don't
Hey,
know.
you could set up a house there.
Yeah, we can make that a base camp.
I'm getting right into it.
I found an enchantment book with Depth Strider. Now a saddle.
Life hack.
Life hack. Just stab your newborn.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Hi, Salmon.
Let me know what's in that dimension.
French fries.
What?
There are French fries in this dimension.
There are French fries in this dimension.
Oh,
Uh,
it's orange terracotta. Even though that is definitely not orange.
I would recommend getting a compass.
I
Oh,
recommend
crap.
gearing up before going into a
what
dimension.
the hell? Okay. Well, I'll take some of these. Thank you very much.
I'm slow.
Alright, I got my compass.
I'd recommend clicking on that lodestone. What the hell? Are those magma cubes? Why are they green?
Oh wow, there's a lot of chests here. Family.
What?
You can make a religion out of it. No, don't.
There's magma cubes chasing me.
Oh. Oh dear. What's with all the friggin' particles everywhere?
I don't know.
Alright, you gotta sneak around him, you see.
Okay, so
I hear a dragon!
That's the Ender Dragon!
Get in the portal! Get in the portal!
I'll put it in the mission.
Don't worry, there's infinite of those kits, so you'll be fine.
Oh my god, that was like nick of time.
this portal multicolored,
Don't go in it.
isn't it?
The Ender Dragon was in it.
Oh, why was the Ender Dragon in it?
I don't know.
Wait, how do I get the friggin' book?
Right
Oh, dude,
click
I
on
think
the...
I did.
Oh. I'll just break that one. There's this vending machine has infinite kits in it, so
Bruh.
really the world is your oyster.
Yeah, I can't.
World-
Okay,
The world is an oyster. Okay, you know, I instantly screwed that up.
let's try this again.
God, that was scary. I have just so much random freaking wood from all those starter
2,
chests,
3,
though.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright, let's try this one. Wait, do you have to break the portal first?
No,
No? Alright.
going in.
I'm going into a separate one. If you don't mind.
It's the end, but it's pink. What in the name of monkey nuts?
Is there an Ender Dragon?
Not here.
Oh.
It went to that other
That
dimension.
green thing.
Oh no!
I think that's just the iron bars.
Garrett found red dimension.
Whoops.
Did you just
found-
freaking fall off?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
fell
the
off.
normal end combined with like the end islands.
Exactly.
What's that blooting? It's a mine shaft down there. What?
Hold on, I think Garrett's dimension has like negative brightness. Which one of yous? Which one of you idiots?
What?
Who
This
kept
is-
placing these?
This is really screwing with my mind right now. Why is white wool pink? Oh,
What the hell is this?
It's the scary zone.
It's like a negative color.
I don't
It's like-
have it.
Hold on. I have a torch.
Oh.
Oh god. Oh no.
Oh, yeah, it's...
Time isn't moving here. What the hell?
We gotta start bridging over.
Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely the... Is that glass?
Yes.
I
it's
kind of want to go down
glass.
there. Ooh!
Here, I got wood.
Look, over there. It's like part of a mine shaft.
Yeah.
Over there.
Throw me the wood, please. Thank you.
What
This
the-
is fun.
That's sandstone?
Just hold. Yes, this is sandstone. This is white wool.
That's white wool?
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is definitely some sort of weird negative color. Oh, obsidian's the same.
What are you?
This looks like acacia planks.
Why is it? No, that's oak. This is acacia.
This is dark oak.
Wait.
Oh, why are there bats?
It's a desert? And it's all pink. Wait, this cactus is normal.
That's not a normal cactus.
I think your
Sam.
lighting is just giving up at this point.
Oh,
No, it's a normal
Mushroom.
cactus.
found some drugs.
Oh yeah, I see one too. That's weird.
Yeah, right there. I'm not on crack, you're on crack. Crackhead.
I have looked.
Oh wait, there are no mushrooms in the desert, so is this even sand?
Yes,
Is this sand Undertale?
blood red sand.
Oh god.
Oh my god! What did you do?
I broke a
I
sand
broke
block.
one block.
Oh god!
Oh my god!
Oh,
What the
that's
hell?
everything.
Oh shoot! You
I
doomed
think
us
the whole
all.
world's a...
Garrett, you freaking
Okay.
doomed us all.
Oh, I think we're good.
Be very careful.
Sam, be very careful at that ledge.
One false block placement and this
Corey,
entire
Corey,
thing goes
Corey.
down.
Corey, you might want to enable keep inventory.
No.
No, keep it disabled, just for the funny.
So how are we supposed to get down?
I don't.
Help.
I think you can
Huh.
just dig your way down to the mine shaft.
Oh!
Yeah, if you don't collapse this entire place first.
This is a scary
Ah.
place.
What?
Oh Jesus!
There's your sand.
One false step and we're all done for.
Ow.
How do I?
What's over there?
Blue thing? Oh,
That's
guys.
bones. But
Guys,
like
I
half
have-
of them are not colored right.
Oh.
You moron!
You pushed me! You bitch!
Bye, Gary.
I'm closing the portal, screw you!
Wait. Wait. He's gonna close the portal. No. Please.
Yeah, he's in a pickaxe.
Oh.
You ass! You just jumped me down.
That was a combined team effort, and I'm proud.
I'm truly proud of our generation. Oh, I put the lodestone down in the wrong place.
Hey, I found the portal. This says a lot about our society.
I'm sending him to hell. No, get in there.
Whoops. Ah.
God, get in here! Get in the portal! Get in the portal!
Skeleton.
We're back here!
Skeleton. Hello.
Give me this book!
What the?
We're back here in hell again.
Whoa. There's a sphere.
I died going through the portal.
Oh, thanks.
Give me one of these. Oh god. Oh god. The
Whoa.
portal turned blue. Get me in here.
Corey, go back through the portal. This
Uh.
place is just shapes.
Ah! They're coming through the
Punch 'em
portal!
Aw.
I made the advancement by punching
What
them
the
off the
hell
cliff.
kind of frickin' non-Euclidean dimension did we just wander into?
I have no idea.
Is this heaven?
I don't know.
Salmon behind you, there's a
It's all
zombie.
shapes.
Salmon,
There's a big sphere over there.
We could probably get some good resources from in here. Hopefully.
Maybe.
If we can find a cube. Found a bunch of wool.
Oh, heck yeah. Beds for days.
Well, yeah, but we're probably gonna explode.
Just make a bed in the real
I'm
world?
at like 3 hearts. It's not good.
I'm at 5.
Ooh, funny circle.
Something's on fire.
I think this is just random block shapes.
Exactly.
So we could probably
Oh.
find a big block of diamonds or something.
Ooh. That would
Ow.
be fun.
Oh, no. Alright, well, I'm gonna try to secure the area around the portals a bit more. Never mind, that was a bad idea. I'm coming back to you guys.
Whoa.
I'm hiding in here until it's daytime.
I'm in shape land.
Welcome to. This is what Flatland looks like. To
This is like Disney World or some shit. The weird Disney World attraction. Oh, hey, lava.
This is
an
a
acid trip.
This is. It's the shapes.
I wonder if we can get through the top of the bedrock.
Who
Hey,
lit the
that's-
wool block on fire?
I have
Seeing
nothing.
how there's massive piles of lava everywhere, I don't think someone lit
But
it
it's
on fire.
nowhere near lava.
Why
Oh,
is
wait,
the
I lit
air
it
on
on
fire?
I lit it on fire. Whoops. I don't think I'm gonna survive that jump, to be honest.
Guys, the air is on fire.
Whoops.
What do you mean? Oh shoot, the air is on fire. Look,
Ah,
Guys, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here.
air birds.
Air is flammable.
Oh wait, the area is secure.
Now, is the fire spreading through air, or is the air just on fire?
Yes.
Because if the air burns, that's a pretty serious problem.
Oh, that's a skeleton. Get in the portal. Go into Loopy Land. Get into Loopy. Get in.
I'm getting into the bedrock, seeing if there's anything on top of it.
Go away. I'm going in here. Screw you. Ow. Oh no.
Bruh.
I can't even get through a portal. There's too many enemies.
This place. I'm gonna try and look for anything useful.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get through the bedrock ceiling. Although most of the shapes up here seem to be made out of terracotta, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There seem to be one made out of glass over here though, so let's see. See if it punched a hole in the bedrock ceiling or not. There's just like a rainbow glass things.
That's a circle made out of carpet.
Oh god, okay, this doesn't appear to go through the bedrock.
Ooh. I now have a lot of carpet.
Meanwhile, Garrett's fighting something to get into a portal.
Go away, zombie. God damn.
I now have carpet.
Okay, no, I can't do it. I'm at like 1 heart. Alright, half a heart. You know, I'm just gonna hug this cactus. But
What is this?
Salmon,
immune.
where are you?
I'm immune to your attacks. Go.
I found a large blue cube. Oh, and now there's a skeleton at the portal. That's great.
Oh god,
Oh.
there's so many monsters going through the portal right now. Though it's almost daytime, so we should be alright.
I'm making eye contact
is
with that
this?
skeleton from like 50
Oh,
meters away.
crap,
I don't think he
no.
sees me.
Go away. They followed me in.
Well, of course he doesn't see me. He doesn't have eyes.
What is this? Oh. Ooh, a lot of starting
the hell?
chests.
Hi, Garrett.
There's a lot of starting chests.
Well, this place was boring. Yeah, Fever Dreamland, not my favorite.
There should be a feature in normal Minecraft.
Oh,
Ah!
What the hell? Is this like ice spires but made out of frickin' like, what the hell?
Garrett, there's a zombie on your end. Oh, great,
So-
soul sand.
I'm sorry.
Why
but
is the friggin' water made of blood?
Nutrition.
Oh boy, this is interesting.
Somebody needs some fiber.
There's no ground.
I'm gonna die. Gart, help. I'm in a very slow chase.
Oh no, I fell out!
Haha, I have an axe.
Don't worry, it's daytime.
What is this? There's a platform.
I killed them, yay. Food!
Is that the, like, is that the spawn platform for the Void Super Flat?
What the heck is that?
It's like a half shulker, what the hell?
Oh god, that's laggy.
Whoa!
Yeah, that is. Oh, what am I looking at?
Wait, that's what it is.
It's-
Look at the bedrock.
Oh, yeah, that's the end gateway.
Why are there so many?
I don't know. This is the spawn platform for Super Flat Worlds. The hell is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, and I kind of don't want to find out. I don't even know what material it uses. So did Sam just fall to his death or something?
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, oh, oh. Ah, some risky business.
Ow. What's in those chests?
I think they're starting chests.
Neat. Come on. Let me in.
So what's in it, Corey?
I felt
Yeah, they're just starting chests.
is the entire bottom of that world made out of end gateways.
I think so, yeah. Let's see here.
Oh, look.
Oh.
Platform. Wow, those are end gateways.
Can I get in it? Ah! Oh! Oh!
What?
Oh! Oh!
Garrett spawned into
Oh.
a separate pocket dimension within a dimension. This is some Inception crap.
Whoa!
Oh my god, there's chests galore.
Okay, parkour.
Just hop the blocks down.
Uh.
We'll use the spoils to get back up.
Uh.
Ow.
Oh. It. Oh. Wait, how are we gonna make this? Oh. Up. What the? What is all of this? I think we
Ow.
have to just.
I'm on the ground. What the? It's
Crap.
redstone chests.
Redstone chests? It's
We've
just
been
trap-
lied
It's
to.
just trap chests.
It
Yeah,
is.
it is a
It was
trap.
a trap made of traps.
It's a trap.
Oh, whoa, what's all that over there?
Haha, Garrett and Sam are trapped in a dimension.
Garrett, what's over there?
Wait, it's where we were.
Wait. It's a teleporter.
It's the teleport. Yeah, this is the same dimension.
It's. Oh my god. Bruh.
Oh, hey, this chest has a lot of sticks.
You know you guys can make portals in while you're in a separate dimension.
Yes, but I don't
We don't have the
any more.
materials.
We don't have the
You can
materials.
grab more than one kit.
Whoa, that's a lot of sticks.
I'm exploring this dimension that I just came across. It's very yellow and orange.
Alright, Garrett, I got a bunch of building blocks.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here.
Just like Scoob, let's skedaddle.
I'm not even sure there's oxygen here.
Yo, what is oxygen? Where was the portal? I think we lost the portal.
No, it's right.
You lost the
It's over
portal,
there.
didn't
It's
you?
over there. Right? Yeah, because that's where all the stuff is.
You don't sound too sure about that.
Well, I mean, it's worth a shot because there's a bunch of torches and crap over there, but I do not see a waterfall. Hey, Garrett, there's a another. Whoa, Garrett.
Stacking up.
All right, that's fair.
Because
Coral? I think it is.
oh god, what is this? What is this loopy land that we've stumbled upon?
Is that? Okay, I was about to say,
Ah.
that better not all be cactus.
What
Hey,
is
look.
that? Salmon, look at that.
The hell?
Jesus.
What is that noise?
Okay, should we start? Should we
What
try
is
to
the
make
noise?
a way over there?
Maybe. What is that?
Oh, god, we're gonna have to like parkour around low on blocks.
Ooh.
Biome is the.
Okay, how are we gonna do this? We are.
Oh my God.
I just got hit.
Look at all these. Oh, I thought you just fell. Look at all these. Oh my God, it's bones.
bones.
Circles in the sky. They're just sideways surprise faces. It's
Yeah.
colon O.
Huh?
That's all it is.
Yup.
Ah, this lag.
Oh!
We
Oh no!
Garrett, you just got lucky.
I got very lucky. Oh no, not the lag again!
Oh my God, what keeps lagging? Is it all that crap over there? Alright, I'm gonna turn
Ah!
my render distance
Not
down.
you again.
Let's do 15 chunks.
Okay, I'm out of blocks.
You're out of blocks?
I'm just gonna have to start parkouring. Not lag again! No! No! Fuck you, lag! You always, it always
It could
happens
be because
right.
I'm teleporting through dimensions right now.
Yeah, can you stop that?
No.
Bro, you're gonna cause me to die.
It sounds like a personal problem.
You're a personal problem.
Oh.
When teleporting from dimension to dimension causes someone to die because the multiverse is lagging.
Imagine the first time someone manages to travel to another dimension, everyone just like freezes for a solid 5 seconds. And they're like, what was that? Sorry, I rendered a new portion of the multiverse.
Corey, stop traveling dimensions!
I'm not traveling dimensions, I'm getting wood.
What the hell is all this? God damn it! Game!
I don't
Stop.
think Garrett's computer likes the entire bedrock area being replaced by chests.
I think any computer likes this.
Oh!
Minecraft, can we
Garrett's
get
at half
an
a
update on this
heart.
April Fool's update? Garrett, I got
Garrett's at
some
half a
food.
heart. Garrett's at half
I'm
a
at
heart.
half a heart.
I got some food.
I don't know. I'm just gonna start building a house.
Oh no. Oh!
It did the exact same thing I did. Oh no!
How are you still alive?
I have no idea.
So Garrett, what Garrett's doing right now is he's jumping up and down.
Okay.
It's like he's jumping and he keeps
No.
missing his jump and falling down.
That place is made of diamond ore.
Oh, that's diamonds over there. But we can't get that.
Ooh. We get over there and we're gonna be
Okay,
rich. Bruh.
Yeah, you might want to just jump now.
And wait, I need to go to the shape
Well,
dimension.
we still need an iron pickaxe to get there, so yeah.
I need wool.
Alright, let's...
Me and Sam and our travel buddies.
I'm starving and I need to go to the shape dimension.
For what?
Why do you need to go to the shape dimension?
I need wool.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, that's a creeper! Oh shoot, my portal's
just for your
broke.
information, I burned a good portion of that wool.
A creeper was here, blew up, and now the portal's down. Luckily I have flint and steel, but oh god, if I didn't. You're stuck in shape purgatory.
Okay, Salmon, where are you?
Okay, I need
Over here.
Create the portal. Get that book.
Ow!
oh, yeah, I
Ow!
did
Quickly,
burn
get
it.
at the portal. Get at the portal.
Bruh.
What the?
Nice. Oh,
Which portal is it?
the orange one.
There's two of them.
We should probably start
the
naming
freaking
the
drown's here.
dimensions.
The freaking drown's here.
Whoops.
It's so laggy. Oh god, that's the enemy.
Sorry, I'm in the wrong dimension.
This entire dimension's the freaking crimson biome.
Garrett. Does it mention Garrettson is a crimson forest? Like 100%.
I can't even travel to between dimensions anymore.
Why?
I literally can't, that's it.
It's so laggy.
I must leave the shape dimension.
I'm
What
restarting
is that?
Minecraft.
What
It's so
what
laggy.
in the name of Jesus Christ
What
is
the
that?
hell? It's a
Garrett,
pig-
what is that?
Garrett, how
What-
did
we
you
should-
bring a piglin back?
It's a crimson biome. Go into that orange one behind you.
Hey, look, an iceberg.
No, I'm hiding in this box until the things blow over.
Give me bacon.
It's so laggy.
I can't see crap.
Garrett, I need help. I need bacon.
Oh!
This thing's not dying.
Oh! I just like lost half my health and now I'm scared. I'm lost and I'm scared. Oh, it's so laggy. Oh, I'm gonna get motion sick this fast. Kill me. End me now.
they green?
End me now. And yes, thank you.
Just turn your
Corey, where
particles
did you
down.
build that house?
A while ago, I built like the outer shell and then ran out of blocks.
Oh god. Ugh. Yeah, nope. I'm not going.
I'm just running to the desert temple.
The desert temples are only salvation.
I can't get in the desert temple.
I hear some of the crap that Garrett brought out of the portal with him outside of my house, and I don't
Corey,
want
just
to
get
wake
out.
up.
Corey, just get out of the house and start running. There's. It's a baby pig hoglin. Oh, it still attacks. It still attacks. Ah!
I hear Garrett flailing around
Kill the
outside.
baby! Kill the baby!
Murder
I'm
the
hiding.
child.
I'm running. Screw gathering resources to get ready for.
I'm waiting for this nightmare to end.
Corey, just set the time today. Corey, your house is on
I'm
fire.
aware. I just need to see what's happening.
Corey, just set the time today.
Wait, it's still on fire?
Set it today, Corey. I'm running for my life.
Mm.
Sam, there's a zombie behind you.
Not
I
anymore.
set it on fire!
Salmon, you boomer!
This
I'm
is
barricading
fine.
all the doorways.
Ah!
Alright, there's a bunch of crap around here that I'm hearing.
I'm stuck in red dimension, but that's okay, because I got a magma cube to keep me company.
Garrett, you're seriously building a dimension hopping portal in here?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like I'm getting the hell out of here.
I'm getting out of here.
Alright, fine, I'll help. Ow!
Oh! Kill it, kill it.
Push them in the boomer pit.
Oh!
Oh, there's a creeper in the boomer pit.
Give me this. Which way is
Alright,
the
I'm
desert
trapping
temple?
everything in the boomer pit.
You can see it from spawn.
Corey, follow me.
Ooh, dead corpse.
Oh, I see it. What the hell?
Fight me, spider!
go,
It's a
go,
flaming
go,
spider!
go.
Run! Run, the spider's on
I
fire!
barricaded the main doorway. But, you know, crap still manages to get in. Ow.
That was a good portion of my health.
I actually didn't take any damage, surprisingly. But now there's a bunch of stuff in the boomer pit. Oh,
Into the fire.
jeez. Thought you were a zombie.
I hear a spider.
Yeah, I think it's in the boomer pit. Oh, there's nothing in the boomer pit.
I lit a spider on fire.
Alright, well that's our light source. I just lit the ground on fire. Where did you get a bed?
I made one. Remember I had to go to the shape dimension and got some wool?
I'm just gonna set my spawn point here.
Okay, I figured out a better way to do dimension hopping. We can make portals within portals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we just make a long line of portals from one dimension to the other.
Alright, Garrett, build the rest.
I have 5 obsidian in my inventory
crap.
for some reason.
Alright, should be good.
Then, hold on. Throw the book in. Wish me luck, boys.
Alright, Garrett, let us know how it is. Don't bring anything back.
The ground is diamonds! The ground is freaking diamonds! There's explosions everywhere! I'm scared! I'm so scared!
No, explosions everywhere, I'm out.
But
Hey, while he's there, let's
Wait,
just...
well, he's not dead.
wait, there's,
Yeah, but I
there are
just
only
changed the
explosion,
portal.
but there's explosion particles. That's it.
Alright, fine, we'll send him back.
What was that?
It's just explosion particles, it looks like.
I hear a pig. There's a pig. Yeah, the ground is diamonds.
There's wool, so you guys can make beds.
Are you sure that's diamonds? Oh, yeah, that's diamonds.
What type of wool is
The
this?
hell was that?
It's like
I have no
gray.
idea. Is this ice?
Yes, it's ice.
Alright,
What?
cover.
We need iron pickaxes, but
What was it?
I don't know, I don't want to find out. Cover me, I'm building another portal. Gonna do this Inception style.
Leather Nordle.
that's a hoglin.
We need to find somewhere where we can get iron pickaxes. And just yoink all these diamonds. Oh man, if that's blue ice, then, you know, we could make another highway.
There's a demon above me. He's looking down at me.
He is yellow, but he's also stuck because his pathfinding is garbage.
This is a weird drug trip. I'm going through. I don't care. But we're back
Wait,
here.
yeah, you didn't throw the book. You threw the book thing through the portal. Like you just took up the box of ancient books and chucked it into the portal.
Give me the book. Give me the book. Give me the book. It's not.
You're
it's not
left
giving...
clicking on it, you moron. Wait, let's do that.
It's the end, but it's normal.
No.
Ah, no, there's a lava lake, and below ground is purple wool.
Huh.
Not even surprised.
Oh, disappointing. I'm very hungry. Like, I have like 4.5 hunger bars left. Corey, can you just give us a bunch of food?
You'll find food somewhere, don't worry.
Yeah, but I'm starting to think that there's no food. Okay, this lodestone compass is having a stroke.
You just threw a freaking obsidian in there.
How many dimensions deep are we going, boys?
As many as we can. It's ice.
Oh, good
And
God.
time is giga fast.
It is ice.
That's nice.
Alright, I got another one.
Why is
Already.
the sun so big and the moon so small?
Oh my god.
Hey, what's that underneath here? Oh. What is this?
Shut up.
A what?
Well, it's a
Oh.
good thing I built that now.
Oh,
Elder Guardians!
no.
Elder Guardians! Elder Guardians!
Oh, we got mining fatigue.
I can't right click on the box.
Go, 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 go. Break the ice.
We
I can't get
we
the
got
thing.
mining fatigue.
I can't get the thing out of the box.
Stuck down here.
Oh God,
Wait.
it's the worst parkour ever.
Well, I'm already up here, but I just can't get the thing out of the box now.
Oh,
How long does this last?
5 minutes.
Oh god. Can't get into the next dimension for 5 minutes.
Just go back,
back?
to the portal and go
Guys,
back.
this is America under socialism.
Oh, shh.
Oh,
Hi, Gart.
I'm in hurting. I'm in pain. Okay, I'm building. Oh God, I can't get up there.
I'm going back through.
If you go back through, I think it just takes you to the overworld.
Yeah,
Alright, that's fair.
it's not letting me back through. Oh, there we are.
Oh, you at the overworld?
I'm gonna set my spawn
Help.
point there.
Infinite
Throw all of my stuff in here. And just throw this on the
I
ground.
can't
and then
break
just-
the book.
There we are. And then just walk over here.
Did you activate the TNT? No, you didn't.
I mined all the TNT.
Alright, well, let's just wait for the mining fatigue to wear off since we can't get the other thing of books.
Oh.
Salmon, I think you're lagging.
Oh yeah, it's because I was going through a portal.
Pleasant normal.
We should probably, well, now that it's day, we can build up our infrastructure here for now.
Light.
There's that dimension, what, two dimensions deep, which had all the wool and or no, it was 1 dimension deep that had all the wool, so you guys can build beds in here.
Yeah, but how are we gonna get it since we still have mining fatigue 3?
What's that, Corey?
My phone.
Why?
Your mom.
I'm
Well,
building another portal here.
Garrett doesn't have a mining fatigue. Garrett, break the door open. We need. We're gonna go get supplies. I just need like. Oh, why are there still mobs out here?
God, did we break this dimension too?
I don't
Oh, wait,
know.
no, those dudes are immune to sunlight.
Chicken.
Chimkin.
Ow.
Gonna beat it to death. Got it. I'm just gonna light you on fire. I lit myself on fire.
What is this?
I'm trying to get
Ice
some
World.
seeds.
Pre-cooked chicken! Whoop whoop.
Ice
I have
world.
5 seeds.
I've discovered an ice dimension.
Me and Sam are gonna make a farm.
There is no sky. The sky doesn't
I got a cooked
exist.
chicken.
Put some string.
Squid grows here. Or
Corey,
squids live
Corey,
here.
look. It's the Grail.
Oh yes.
MMM. Delicious.
So, hey guys, who wants to
Oh,
live in an ice
Garrett
world?
blocked this off with another portal.
Why do you think I was digging there?
Oh.
Now we're trapped.
Or you could just go through the portal.
Da 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 da.
Alright, let's just cook the chicken then. Oh crap.
Sam, I can assure you, this dimension actually doesn't have anything harmful in it. It's just a cool.
Fine then, I'll just cook myself. By the time that mining oh, we got like 45 seconds. Then we can finally do
Break
this.
this door open. We're stuck in here.
Garrett, help, please.
Hi, how's it going?
Corey, salvation. Corey.
Oh, I'm at 1 heart.
Well, just set your respawn point here,
I did.
That's
and
my
then
bed.
just like observe, and then see there. Now you're respawned with all of your heart and hunger bars.
Okay, well we should probably figure out a way to get food.
I found a sheep. I'm gonna go light it on fire.
I do have some string, so I could make a fishing rod and go fishing in that ice dimension.
I found some pigs. I'm gonna light them on fire.
Opened up.
I accidentally opened up. Wait. What about that one dimension that had like a bunch of starter chests?
Oh crap, I accidentally started a small forest fire.
I started a small fire.
Oh.
Was it oil based? Oil based.
Good job.
Thank you, Larry the cucumber. Very cute. Cool.
Come over here, I'm gonna light you on fire.
Okay. Just gonna put all this stuff down for now.
Get out of the water. You're becoming bacon whether you like it or not.
What?
No, you're becoming bacon. I will light this river on fire if you don't
systematic.
stop.
Oh no. Oh wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Garrett's lagging it.
Garrett went back to the laggy dimension.
No, you have straight in.
I do?
You have what?
I apparently have straight A's.
But you haven't done anything for the past month.
I know.
I mean, the grades aren't finals.
Yeah, but apparently teachers had to do some things with grades.
Hey Sam,
I got
is that
real
your
lucky.
brother?
Huh?
Is that your brother?
That's my sister.
Garrett, you're a
Sounds
moron.
like your, sounds like your brother.
What?
Yo, guys, it's April 2nd, and my friend is still dressing up as a girl. Guys, what is going on?
Guys, it's April 2nd. My wife is still pregnant. LMAO. That joke. That she's such a jokester.
I'm getting food.
I'm going into the dimension with the cool
Heck yeah.
kids, funny. Ah,
You,
it's
sir, are
this
food.
dimension. It's this dimension. Okay.
I found a box of infinite books just kind of lying on the ground over here, so that's a good sign.
Don't worry, I'm getting
That's a
food.
good sign. That's a good sign. Which
Honestly,
dimension
yeah,
was
if
it?
they had just left this mechanic in here and put boxes of infinite books in, like, strongholds or something,
That would be cool.
like mine
Dimension.
shafts.
Oh.
Or like villages or
I'm
something. I don't know.
going back.
Literally swim to the bottom of the village well, and all of a sudden you got a box of infinite books. Alright, I got food.
I hear a wandering trader who's very lost. Why do we still have particle effects?
This is the cube dimension. There's a skeleton here. I'm going back. This is the funny shapes dimension.
I got enough wool for you two to make beds.
What was this dimension? I don't think I've been in this one before. What the heck? It's magma cubes.
Gonna be some
but-
tender beef. And keep punching it.
On third. I'm going. Okay, I'm going back. I'm going back. I'm going back. I'm going back. This is too scary. It's-
Crap, you got in the water.
Oh, is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. It's this one. It's just this
See,
one.
they're smart enough to actually put themselves out. What the
What?
crap? Garrett, you're lagging the server.
I am.
Yeah, this chicken standing in the fire as if it's nothing would like to say that.
But all I did was go into a dimension, and that was it.
Well, yeah, you're loading in an entire new dimension here.
No, this portal's been already made.
Just go back.
Just go back home.
I just timed out.
Same here.
Yep,
Oh,
Garrett broke the universe.
okay, loaded. It's loaded in now. I'll find some food in this dimension.
I'm gonna beat
hopefully.
you. That was easy.
Crap. Get out of the water.
Oh god.
Where are all the chests?
There's so many freaking portals over there.
Yes. Perfect. Hey you, come here. I know you want the seeds. Yes. Come on.
Salmon, are you trying to make a chicken eat your seed?
Wait.
No, I'm lighting chickens on fire.
And feeding chicken seeds.
Oil based.
Oil bay. Okay, oh hey, I got some resources. See this chest, this
Bonk.
dimension's not as bad.
Got him. Alright, returning to the base with food.
Bonk. Boink.
See if you.
Corey, where are you?
Punching rabbits. Why?
Why is this?
LeMayo, imagine punching them.
With a stick.
Imagine having to punch your food to get it.
post was made by going into a separate dimension and robbing it, gang. Salmon, we
Hey,
may
does
have to
anyone
eat
have
your
any
family.
wood?
Hey,
Yes.
Corey, you want some food?
Sure.
I'm
The
currently in a separate dimension.
Don't ask where I got it.
Hey, is there any wood anywhere?
Wood.
Because we can make a campfire in here.
Do you have coal?
No, but we can make it.
Okay, I gotta be very careful. I don't want to fall to
I'm gonna
my
go
death.
back into the funny dimension with all the random crap everywhere and see if I can find any wood.
I'm getting some wood right now. Keeping laser focus on this spider. Alright, that should be enough.
Okay.
Alright, I'm back.
There's stuff in
Or
that
not.
chest behind you. One of the shulker boxes has just a bunch of random crap in it.
This is very scary. I don't like this. I don't like this. Why am I in this dimension? When I could be at home, sleeping, enjoying life. I don't like this dimension.
Sticks. Do we have a furnace? We don't have a furnace, do we?
Nope.
I'm coming back with pickaxes. A lot of them.
Okay.
Come on, send me back. Beat me up, Scotty. Oh, it's nighttime. Oh, it's nighttime. Oh God, it's nighttime. Run!
Are you outside?
Yes, cause I went through a portal.
Haha.
Run! Gotta get out of here. I must get out of here as quickly as possible.
Do you need me to open up the main entrance of the base?
Nope, I'm running. I be
Okay.
running. Run, boy, run. The world is after you. Run, boy, run. They're trying to capture you. Run, boy, run.
Oh. Oh. Hello? I found some torches.
Yeah, sorry, Garrett. Do you need food?
I have food.
Hey, I found stone. Alright, don't come down here because I'm lighting the hallway on fire.
What?
I have a stack of soulfire torches.
The crap is a soul fire torch.
It's one of the things in the snapshot. Like the actual snapshot. I have 2 stacks of soulfire torches.
Alright, I got enough stuff for a furnace.
I am mining torches.
Garrett, what in Jesus' name is this?
Food.
I have a crap ton of light.
Alright,
you're
I
welcome.
need these.
You're welcome. I'm gonna take this. Make my own bed.
Alright, I'm coming back.
And there's monsters nearby. I'm just gonna throw my bed here.
Light, 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 light. Yeah, so I have like 4
Alright, don't
stacks.
breathe.
I have like 4 stacks of these, so There you go. Alright, there should be enough wool for you to make a bed too, Salmon.
I have wool.
Alright,
I beat up sheep for half an hour.
sleep.
Can you smell what the rock is cooking?
Asbestos?
No, math.
Why do you hear people punching each other outside of my bed?
You think that? You mean that?
Oh.
Yeah, that's me
Is that-
stepping on a campfire.
Is that you just burning yourself?
Yes.
Sleep.
Hold on.
Salmon, not to be rude, but I'm gonna have to.
I know. It's okay.
Your family
What
would
in
have wanted
Jesus'
this.
name?
Draining, I think.
Where's the stuff? Why are there so many soulfire torches? Where's the wool?
Cooking your family. Do 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 do.
Corey, where's the wool?
Should be in this shulker box.
Oh wait, do you mean the wool I used to board up the front of the house?
Yes, that was the that was the wool I reserved for your bed. That I stole
crap.
from the other dimension.
Ah well, anything that tries to pass through there will just be sent to the funny dimension.
Or you know, we could just.
Get sent to the funny dimension, liberal.
Alright, there are monsters nearby.
Move your bed to the other side of the room.
Cooking salmon family.
Bed is obstructed. Got it. Go to sleep, Garrett.
Whoa, we slept through the night. That's a new one.
Alright, time to divvy up the rations.
I'm cooking
Garrett,
salmon.
come here.
What? Awesome.
Corey.
Oh,
Huh?
who's getting shot?
So now we need to.
What the?
Oh,
It's
there's
up
a
there!
skeleton up there.
Take cover!
Why is it only shooting me?
Because they think that you're black.
There we go. Problem solved.
It's so dark in this one. Hold on, where's the torches? Yeah, I'm just gonna take a step.
Oh yeah, I need. Yeah. Come on, Garrett, light the way.
Yeah. Salmon, you know there's stone pickaxes up there, right?
Shut up. Sounds like somebody's busting a nut outside our door.
Pretty much. Wish me luck, lads. I'm going in.
I hope you die.
I'm
So
continuing
essentially,
this dimension
all we
trip.
need is just one iron pickaxe, and then we can destroy the economy.
Pretty much. I'm tidying up the passages between the portals a little bit.
I'm kind of building something.
Literally just need 3 iron, Garrett. That's it.
Yes, and it's gonna be hard to find this type.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Faster. Freaking faster, Garrett.
Bruh!
Find me done.
You know, screw this.
Here. Here.
Screw this.
Here. Here. Take that. pork chop.
You already gave me food.
Then friggin' get back here. Penis music. Bruh. Yeah, shut up, stupid zombie. Funny, 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 funny. The Wee.
Oh.
Took way too long to eat that. Yes, I like mining the same block 8 times in order to break it.
Who doesn't? Am I right?
Garrett, did you take all the good stuff from these chests? Oh, no, you didn't.
Hey, look, I'm in the less laggier version of the Crimson biome. Oh no, it is laggy. Nope.
Epic.
Corey, which dimension are you in?
Currently transiting to the last dimension in the chain. I'm passing the ice dimension. And then I'm gonna build a new portal.
Legend
Alright.
Order.
I'm in the next dimension.
Oh wait, that reminds
I
me.
might have to fight off some
I
creepers.
did have an iron pickaxe, but Corey shoved me into the void with it.
Oops. Give me that.
So everything in this Crimson biome wants me dead. Okay.
Attempting to go a layer deeper. Oh, it's all dirt. And there's a cloud here. We are really high up, aren't we? What is that made of? Oh, it's all torches.
I've
Break
been
it, see
hurting,
what
am
happens.
hurting, am hurting.
Then eat.
Get the flesh wheel.
I found the end. But
Whoa,
different.
wait, look at this light thing.
Yeah, what the hell? The end of the lighting is broken. Okay, I'm out of traveler's kits.
I have one more way to travel. Look. I made it. Alright,
I'm going back to base. Look, Gert.
Ooh, crimson planks. That's cool.
Wait, hold on. Huh. I found the funny Ender Dragon place.
I still have mining fatigue.
You still?
Well, yeah, because I fell off the platform in the ice dimension while building it.
Yeah, I found the Ender Dragon place. That's cool.
What do you mean you found the Ender Dragon place?
In that last dimension.
Oh.
It is eerily quiet here and I hate it.
These doors are cool.
Hey, Garrett, catch. Wait.
What is this?
Does what?
Oh, that's a shroom. It's practically the equivalent of a glowstone.
Uh-oh.
Whee!
scared? Did you just jump down to get it? Oh, no. Well, it's down there. Ow.
Why?
Because. Hey! Get away from my door, you stalker! Alright, I'm gonna go blow this guy up.
Hey, there's string down here.
Oh, it's a door. I didn't know that.
What?
Nothing?
Oh, yeah, Salmon just looked at the crimson door and went like,
No, somebody blocked it off.
Salmon, what was that?
I made a new entrance.
Salmon, you broke Corey's bed.
Yeah, but I made a new entrance.
Well, yes, but now there's a gaping hole in our wall.
Yeah, but now there's
And
also
you
a new
broke the
entrance.
furnace.
There's also a new entrance.
Now monsters can get in.
Yeah, but there's a new entrance. You see? I'm trying to make a wall, Garrett.
Get right, this dimension is eerily quiet.
It is. It's just. You'd expect to hear at least something, but there's nothing. It's like being on the moon.
Oh, what dimension
Minus
are you
the
guys
moon.
in?
If you just keep following the string of portals.
Also, Corey, try not to die. Your bed might or may not have broke by accident.
Yeah.
I don't know how it broke, though.
Because you exploded the freaking wall.
Nah, it's a mystery. It really is. I think there might have been a creeper. Maybe Garrett broke it or something. I don't know.
You broke it.
Okay, there are Endermen here.
What?
I believe it's the second dimension in. There's Enderman.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. It's just a dirt. I know what these are. I know what this is. I know it.
Crap, I got mining fatigue.
Oh, that's a Vex. That's
Wish me luck, lads. Opening a new portal.
Bye, guard.
That was fast! Holy moly! That creeper instantly exploded.
What the hell? Fire! It's all on fire! It's all on fire!
What's all
Oh
on
my
fire?
god.
It's just on
My
fire.
ears!
It's on fire!
The floor is made of stairs.
And trapdoors! Unlike this. Salmon,
Wait, hold
move.
on.
Salmon, move.
Corey, look. That's a chunk of real world.
The hell? What
I
biome
want
are
to
we?
go look at.
Okay, go look at it. Stop running where I'm trying to build the new portal.
Okay, I can't break the blocks in the way. I got mining fatigue.
Oh god, in this dimension, creepers are freaking
Corey, I
fast.
think we've gone too. Oh wait, never mind.
Do you have the book?
No.
They also instantaneously explode, which is a
I
problem.
thought you had the book. Oh wait, I got something here. No, that's just it's a bunch of garbage.
Got it. Got the book.
Found where Corey got all the freaking.
Last layer. It's pink.
It's very vibrant, actually. The colors. There are bats everywhere.
It's all
But
made out of purple.
is that water?
Yes,
Huh.
I think.
This is actually really cool looking. Albeit it looks like the sky has no texture.
Well, it's a cave.
Huh.
How come the grass is normal but the dirt isn't?
That's
Guess it has something
that's
to do with
bad
the alpha.
guy.
There's berries. Let me grab some of that.
Only the bottom of the ferns is actually changed.
I got some berries, so we can
Do you
have
hear that?
a bit of food. What? No.
I'm very
Hmm.
scared. There's a freaking pillager
Huh?
man.
Yeah.
There's a ghast. Oh crap.
Garrett's in the funny dimension where I got
So
all the
this
torches.
place is interesting.
Very.
Next
Guard
portal?
be in the funny zone.
Don't have any more. Returning
Huh.
to base.
Portal is black.
I see your
Hopefully it doesn't
door
rob me.
and I want it painted
Ah!
black.
Alright, we probably need to patch up this hole.
Anymore, I want them to turn black. I see them come from ladders in the summer glow. I have to turn my head.
God, mining fatigue makes you attack way slower. Ow.
Alright, I think we've used up the dimensional traveler's kit. So we're gonna have to get some more.
Come on, Creeper, be an idiot. Yeah.
Can we find somewhere with iron pickaxes?
We've
I
gone
see a
too
red
deep!
door and I want it painted
Entire
black.
world keeps collapsing around us.
It's all on fire! It's all on fire!
Is that a chunk of real world? Yeah, I can't
Oh.
get through.
Oh, my blood, no.
Oh, my blood, there it goes.
Oh, my blood, no.
No, I need that!
Hey.
Come on, man, give it back.
Come on, man. Stop drinking it, bro. I need that. I'm saving that.
Saving
Please
that
don't
for
explode,
later.
Creeper. Creeper, don't explode.
I was just reminded of a cursed image. Oh, no.
Slurp.
Okay.
I'm out, I'm out, I'm out, I'm out, I'm out, I'm out.
Ah! Skeleton.
Skellington.
Ooh! Potions of instant health.
Hey, that's
Local
useful.
brewery. Garrett, are you making beer?
Yes.
Well, I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures.
How many
It's
of
time,
these
it's time
can
to
we
get drunk.
get?
I'm stealing this. I'm stealing.
I don't know, you made it.
I'm gonna fill the remaining space in my inventory with them, and then I'm just gonna cram them in a chest.
I'll just mash the button.
I'm
You
very
collect them.
scared.
Why is your arm so slow?
Mining fatigue.
Oh.
I want to see YouTubers play this. More instant health.
Really needs to be an achievement for when you make like a friggin' portal inside a portal.
It's Portalception.
I get that this is literally just an April Fool's update, but like, I really want this to be an actual thing.
Alright, good.
Alright,
Going
let's
to
see.
base.
Well, that's a creeper. Screw that. Nope, 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 nope. I'm running back. I see a door and I want it painted black. Colors anymore, I want them to turn black. Oh god, what is this? Ooh. I got some.
Oh, there's sugarcane over there.
I got
This is
some
the
health
temple
potion.
where we used to sacrifice a village person. Us. Yeah, look at all the torches.
Nope, no,
Torch
no,
machine
no.
go burp.
Creepers, 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 go away.
Haha, portal machine go boop.
Make a
Haha,
chest.
portal go. What the? You know what? I'm not even gonna ask.
Oh, God. Corey, look.
Ah!
How much hearts do you guys have? Salmon, how much health do you have?
Why?
Not a lot. Hey, wait, we used to sacrifice things here. Why are you doing this?
Interdimensional travel.
This definitely looks like a building
Where-
that's inhabited by interdimensional travelers.
Where do you think I got this dragon head from a freaking ship? I also found some health pots. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Corey, come on, let's go more dimension. I
Yep.
need more.
Enter.
Hold on, I'm making another campfire and putting it over here so we can see.
Where'd you put all the? Oh, I'm gonna take a few. Take a few portals, leave a few portals.
God.
I'm gonna make a second chest.
Yeah, so I believe it's this one with all the Endermen.
Yep.
Yep. Crap.
Damn it.
I think it moves, and that's why sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Why is it taking so long to get into this dimension? Here we go.
No idea. Oh, because Garrett's teleporting too.
Oh wait, Corey, look over there.
Where?
There.
I don't know where you are.
Over here.
Yeah, that's where I got all the torches from.
No. That.
The end gateway?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Try and get there sometime. Farm all the Endermen for their things and then
It's a
yoink it.
creeper.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I'll lead him over
Bye.
here. Come here. Come on. I got him.
Did you just light him?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Why is it taking so long to get through this portal?
Because we're
right,
also
this one.
teleporting. Yes. Just calmly walk to, you know, the next dimension.
Alright.
Why is the
got-
sun so big?
Corey, just set up the portal right here.
How is this an ice planet? The sun is freaking so close.
Funny, it's not ice, it's liquid nitrogen.
Oh God, no.
It's
nope,
liquid
nope.
lead.
I went to dip my hand in it.
Everything's on fire
God,
here.
it's purple.
Oh hey, I caught up with you guys. Why is everything blue?
Don't worry about it.
Why does Corey look perfectly normal in this dimension?
Don't worry about it.
We're on a ship.
Oh, heck yeah.
Tour guide on the jungle.
Wait,
what
is this iron?
Oh.
It's iron! It's iron, boys!
We won.
Oh,
We
there's a
just
brewing
won.
stand back here with potions of instant health. Also, oh,
Take
I
the
can't.
brewing
I
stand.
can't take it. I got mining fatigue.
Yeah, me too. Garrett, you're gonna have to mine for us.
I already got the I got a brewing stand back. Ooh, there's a brewing stand back at the base, but I kind of fell in a hole.
Wait a minute, what's that down there?
What?
Ooh, that's a pillager. That's a pillager.
It's
I'm-
all iron. It's like spires
No.
of iron.
Down there. Oh, it's plant pots. Next place.
Not ready.
We gotta bring guys. We gotta bring the iron back.
You bring the iron back.
You could just.
We're
hop
going
through-
further.
You could just hop through the portal. Oh.
It's... Hey, look, apples.
All starter chests.
Take the food.
All of
I mean,
it.
this isn't really cheating.
And gateways.
Okay, yeah, I'm heading back.
So I fear what lies under the portal. Or under the bedrock.
I like it how when you try to go back, it just sends you all the way back to the start. That's a creeper!
It's like a
Where did
super
it come
platform
from?
made of
Garrett
bedrock.
just blew up the base again.
The creeper was just behind me. Where did it come from?
Again, Garrett.
It
Really?
jumped me.
First, you blow up Corey's bed, and then you do this. Alright, let's make another portal.
Savin, I think your bed is
Hold on, I
gone.
want to see what this thing over here is. I want to see if I can get to
Are
the...
those slabs?
We're block level 130, so, there's definitely something under all this bedrock, and I want to see...
There are stone slabs in the sky.
Yes.
I bet you I know how to get under the bedrock.
I
And
can't
gateways.
mine this.
45 seconds. Yeah, we can. Just grab supplies, honestly. Monopolize the apple market. "20 seconds.
Okay, boys, we did it.
It's like
Boys.
that scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 where they hop
Garrett's got a stack of iron.
through like all the portals.
Yeah.
800 jumps.
Doctor
Jesus.
Strange when they jump when he... Let's open your mind.
My mind can't comprehend any of these dimensions. Nobody
the
would ever
bone
think of
sounds
this.
funny.
Doink. Doink. I think it's all bedrock.
I think it is too. Wait! No! I found something. I found ice.
Oh, we need a trapdoor. Garrett, get a trapdoor.
No, I got supplies for one.
I can't. I'm mining diamonds.
God.
We found a way under the
Mining
bedrock
away.
in this dimension.
I don't know what to say. I'll say it anyway.
Why is my mouse sensitivity so low?
Take on me.
Oh boy, squeeze.
Take me on
Uh-oh.
out. Mining away.
Alright. Jump!
I don't know
Move!
what tomorrow mine is anyway. And this Minecraft
You have
is
food,
so
right?
beautiful.
Yeah. I
Alright, just
should
making sure.
probably do that.
Alright. Gotta get under this bedrock.
We are. We just need to... I just need to mine this. Oh, that's ice.
Alright, I'll just let you do that for
Oh
now.
god, it's all ice.
Alright, I'll go in. Oh crap, I stood up. Oh wait, I don't even have to care about that. Because, you know, swimming.
What was that?
Made it.
You made it? There's more past there? Oh,
I made a tunnel at least.
oxygen.
Uh,
Do you still have mining fatigue?
No.
Hmm. Your animation is still slow for some reason.
So boys, we did it. We're crashing the economy.
Garrett's got a fat pile of diamonds. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep digging
Garrett, the stock market.
till I find something.
Hey, what if I just buy You know, since the stock market's crashing, I feel like it's a perfect time just to buy stock.
It is.
Because it's gonna increase at any
I
point in time.
don't know. I hear things.
Yo,
do
imagine there
too.
being a Vivecraft
Just
version
keep carefully
of this.
digging down and, you know, try not to die. There's
Yeah.
gotta be something. God, these colors are just makes it look
I
like hell.
found something.
Okay, I'm heading back into
Oh.
the overworld.
Yeah.
Dig around it.
Is it water down there? Cause I could break some of the ice.
We need a test dummy. Garrett, get over here.
No.
Wait, I have an idea.
Here, put your stuff in a shulker chest and give it to me.
No, I got it. Giga brain.
Alright, going down.
With my diamond pickaxe and shovel. Okay.
I
so now
don't know.
So now I'm actually prepared.
Yeah, it's water. There's a squid down there.
What
So
the
now,
hell?
so now I'm actually.
It's the nether.
Bones.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the nether.
Is that water?
Because top bedrock layer. Yeah? Yes, it is.
It's water, then under it. What? That's a lot of coral. Oh god, don't do that.
There's another layer under it. Corey? There's another layer.
More
Oxygen.
ice.
There's another fortress.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get to there.
Yep. Heading back up. We can jump down there from the upper platform.
I'm coming in with reinforcements. AKA I just. You'll understand once I get there.
Thank you, Garrett. Very cool.
Jesus.
I need to break some of this ice and turn it into water. Do I? Oh yeah, I can make a torch. I'll just melt the ice.
Got it.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Onto the fortress?
Oh, no. But there's a place over here. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm just gonna melt the ice so that we can then parkour over.
Corey, you can just walk down right here.
Yeah. But, shut
Ah!
up. Ah?
I'm being attacked.
By what?
A piglin. Woo!
2 piglins.
Yes. Incoming. Punch him off. Punch him off.
Oh! It's not. It doesn't have any knockback. Ow.
Sorry. Oh, server's lagging. Bruh. Taking that. Alright, so it's another fortress. Minus the nether.
Is that a police spotter?
I don't know, let's go check. Okay, yep, that was a bad idea. Can't climb stairs, can they? Just in case.
You know, there was a feature to Minecraft
Hello.
where cows can't like go downstairs.
What the crap? That's all dead coral.
That's basalt. That's a
What,
basalt
that?
pillar. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Shut up. There we go.
Where are you guys?
Listen, I'm not at a disk space because all
Wow.
this is running off my D drive, so I don't know what my computer's smoking, but
So guys, I'm at the like.
I think it's
starter-
just because, you know, it's a snapshot.
I'm at the starter chest galore area.
Hey, look, a magma cube. Can use that for potions, right?
Where are you guys?
Yeah. We are by that big pile of bones.
Bones.
Look around the portal and see it. We're under that.
Where are you,
Right.
Corey?
I'm going back
'Cause
up
I-
to the surface to make some more portals.
I have lost where we're supposed to be. Oh. Wait
Oh
for
my God.
me.
Let's see here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's an entire nether under there, and that's pretty much the only entrance to it. What, is that a jungle temple?
Yes.
Oh, dude. Okay, I'm looting that. The heck is this dimension? Okay, so yeah, this goes under the bedrock too.
Oh no 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 no! Oh dude, sick.
Haha, hey Salmon, turn around and look.
Yeah.
I got.
Yes, I
like,
saw you,
3
Garrett.
stacks of diamonds at the base. We're about to crash the entire economy.
Well, looks like Corey found an iron pickaxe.
I'm stealing all the apples. So once we get gold, it's like we don't have to worry about instantly dying.
This isn't
There-
breaking the
aren't there-
rules of Minecraft.
Aren't there traps here?
I disabled them.
Bones. Ah! Oh wait, let's just steal the poison arrows. Or regular arrows.
I created a pillar to see where the entrance to the nether is. Might do the exact same for the portal.
See the portal.
God, there's so many torches.
I got 2 kits left.
Let's do this.
Yeah. What? Yeah,
This
the
is a
dimension of portals.
this is the April Fool snapshot, Dad. Infinite dimensions.
I'm currently making a beacon.
Couple things. Pause on top.
All right, hold on. I gotta mute.
Oh, hold on. Quickly.
This is new keyboard, so you can use the shitty one. Garrett, you need to stop talking.
Ah. What the?
All right, I'm back.
I went into the next dimension.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like the next dimension.
Garrett, return to base. What the hell? What the hell is that?
Look around. It's everywhere and the lighting's broken.
Oh god. Okay, yep. I'm nope out of here.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more crackhead dimensions. We're probably above the nether again.
Yeah, honestly, you could probably get below the What is this music that I'm hearing?
I don't know.
It's scaring me.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed. Oh, I'm not getting that.
Ooh, teal.
Alright, and then after this, we're gonna return to base, because, we're gonna have to clean. What the hell?
What the?
It's stairs.
It's green stairs.
It's just stairs. There's nothing but stairs.
Now there's water. Never in my life have I seen this many stairs.
It's just stairs. Okay, I'm returning
Oh!
to base. Returning to base.
I fell into water and found absolutely nothing.
God,
Now
the-
I need.
I'm offloading all of the spoils of our adventure.
I need help. Wait, it looks like there's part of a normal biome in here, but I think it's also permanently night.
Oh god.
Wait,
No.
is it nighttime in the overworld?
It is.
Okay, then it might just be nighttime here, maybe, hopefully.
Hey, Garrett, where's my bed?
There.
Oh, wait, no, it's not night. It's just...
I'm just gonna nope out of here. That
Aw.
was not funny.
Well, thank you for watching the April 1st stream. I'm gonna use that for the pie.
No, you use the Amazon
Okay.
one. That shitty one.
Yeah. I'm, stop streaming now. Epic.